You gave them every chance to win. If you look at this in slow motion, you can see Caitlin Clark clearly smiling in confusion. Smiling in, did that really just happen? Smiling in, you slide W. And she says, she points at the other team, you gave them every chance to win. Oh, goodness gracious. Caitlin Clark, she's chomping at the bits to start talking to these referees during the game.
The WNBA is in another firestorm, and Caitlin Clark with Sydney Colson aren't holding back. They're done with rigged calls, double standards, and a league more focused on silencing stars than protecting them. What should have been a Fever celebration instead became proof the WNBA's credibility is cracking fast.
This is kind of where everything started at with Sydney Colson. So this is the timeline here. Let me get this pulled up here. This is interesting. I didn't know she said all that today. Okay, this is interesting here. She started off last night by saying at a certain point in the league's existence, I'm going to need for Kelsey Mitchell to get the same whistle as each other stars. The way she gets assaulted is insane, actually. And I've considered roping my sister in it to have off his first charges.
Indiana edged the Sparks 76-75, a finish that should have lit up the Fever locker room. Instead, the buzz wasn't about the win. It was the latest case of lopsided officiating that left players, fans, and analysts baffled.
Who paying you, ref? Who you betting on? And mind you, there was some problems going on with the shot clock throughout the game. But man, there is no way. Right at the end of the game, you should be on top of it. You telling me you're not paying attention to when some hands touch that ball? Come on, man. And then to reward them with the timeout, like, fam, that's crazy work.
Second quarter, Kelsey Mitchell sliced to the rim, blew past her defender, then got flat out yanked mid-drive. Not bumped, yanked. Everyone saw it, but the refs swallowed their whistles. Mitchell still finished the layup, but the damage was done, and the Fever bench erupted.
There is one referee we definitely have to check for betting slips for this guy right here. I think his name is like Agun Agazi, because it sure seemed like he did not want to let the Fever take away this win, making the last 1.9 seconds last almost 5 minutes. He was just like letting them call a reset timeout, and then he was like, no, it's a foul. But I think the worst part about that 1.9 seconds was when 0.4 seconds was left on the clock, and Kelsey Mitchell was at the free throw line. She was trying to miss on purpose because that takes time off of the clock, because if she would have made it in, they would have been able to inbound and possibly do a tip in. But this guy allowed a reset timeout. When do you allow a reset timeout with 0.4 seconds?
Injured but locked in, Caitlin Clark erupted from the sideline, arms waving, yelling, "Call it!" Her fire sparked Lexi Hull, who joined in. The ref's response? A tech on Hull. So, the foul got ignored, the offender kept playing, and the teammate who protested took the hit. If that's not rigging, what is?
That's what everybody saw in that game. Like, it didn't really matter what was going on. We all knew what was happening. We all knew what was happening there. And the game was being given. The game was absolutely being given to the Sparks. They were giving the Sparks every single chance possible to go and win that game. Even though realistically, did they deserve to win that game? Hell no. Hell no. They did not. And I mean that. They did not deserve to win that.
The Fever weren't alone in outrage. From her couch, ACL sidelined, Sydney Colson snapped and fired off a tweet that blew up. I'll need Kelsey Mitchell to get the same whistle as other stars. The way she gets assaulted is insane, actually. And I've considered roping my sister in to press charges.
But Kelsey Mitchell's whistle last night was horrific. And Kelsey drove to the basket a lot. She is the type of person that just like goes through a lot of defenders, and she wasn't getting a call. This really was not her game. She was not hitting it from the three whatsoever. but everyone is entitled to having a bad game here and there, and I think she was kind of due for one because of the tear that she's been on lately. Even Sid Colson took to Twitter to talk about it, saying, at a certain point in the league's existence, I'm gonna need Kelsey Mitchell to get the same whistle as other stars. The way she gets assaulted is insane, actually.
That wasn't just a joke. Colson voiced what Fever fans have shouted for months. This isn't sloppy officiating, it's systematic targeting. Indiana gets hacked, then punished for protesting. Her furious, sarcastic tweet struck a nerve, going viral as fans said, "Finally!" Caitlin Clark chimed in too, dropping a perfect 6-word dagger. Careful, you're going to get fined. Because in the WNBA, you can get mauled on the court, but criticize refs, and you're the one hunted.
Be careful, you're going to get fined. Then Sydney Colson said, I can't get no more fine. So Lynn Dunn stated, agree, I will help pay the fine. So that's what Lynn Dunn stated yesterday about the fines. And Caitlin Clark said, love it. Everyone listen to Lynn. So it's definitely a lot of exchange going back and forth there. That's crazy.
Just ask Sophie Cunningham, the league's cautionary tale on speaking truth about refs. She's been fined 3 times. $500 for lip-syncing a TikTok mocking officials, $1,500 for calling out inconsistency on her podcast, and another hit for saying what everyone saw, that Paige Bueckers got coddled while Fever guards like Mitchell took constant hits with no calls.
Like, I love Paige to death. Do not get me wrong. I think, I think she's a hell of a player and, would love to play with her one day. But those refs were giving her every freaking whistle last night. You literally couldn't touch her. And that's so annoying to me. And if you're going to do that, then give it to our guards. I just hate the inconsistency.
When whistles are player focused, that's I think that's a huge problem. But then again, I don't know what sport that doesn't exist. But she's a rookie. She shouldn't get whistles as a rookie.
Here's the message. Under Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA isn't protecting players, it's fining them into silence. Call it what it is, a protection racket. Take the abuse or pay up. Colson nailed it with her reply to Clark, I can't get no more fine. Translation, she's maxed out by a corrupt system. When stars joke about bankruptcy for demanding fairness, it's no joke. This isn't one missed call, it's a season-long pattern. Fever players hacked, shoved, ignored, then punished for protesting, while Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest draw, takes the hits unprotected. And that leaves one question hanging. How long can fans keep buying in?
We got our best indication yet that Caitlin Clark is on her way back toward a return for the Indiana Fever. Stephanie White did talk about Caitlin Clark, and I thought the comments were fairly telling. Here's what she had to say.
Caitlin, able to go through your little walkthrough or whatever you normally do, and what do you want to see ultimately to get comfort whenever the time comes?
Caitlin Clark just laced up for practice again, and the entire WNBA is spiraling into panic mode. After weeks sidelined with that nagging groin injury, the Fever's franchise star is back, and suddenly, every headline, fan, and rival is buzzing with the same question. Is this comeback too soon, or exactly what Indiana needs to flip the script? One thing's certain, nobody in the league is ready for what's coming, and while Fever fans are celebrating, the players who've spent all season taking cheap shots at Clark are now sweating bullets.
We went through our walkthrough yesterday. Today it was very short prior to game time, but she went through it yesterday, and I want to see her in practice, live in practice. Want to see her continue to work to not just build endurance, but to be able to handle contact 94 feet as it's going to be in game, and to be able to do that and sustain from an endurance standpoint. And that's going to take multiple practices to make sure that there's no progression. And as most of us know, when we get fatigued, we look different, and see how she plays through fatigue.
Here's the truth. The moment Clark stepped back on the court, the entire WNBA orbit tilted. The league sells parity, but everyone knows who fuels the machine. ticket sales, TV deals, viral clips. Clark's fingerprints are everywhere. Even at less than 100%, her presence rewrites the math for the Fever and the playoff race. That's why you can almost hear Angel Reese, A'ja Wilson, and Commissioner Cathy Engelbert grinding their teeth. Clark's return doesn't just change games, it shatters the narrative they've tried to script since day one.
You see Caitlin Clark, this video captured by Chloe Peterson at shoot-around. You can see Caitlin doing some work right there, just, warm-up work, back and forth on the court, but nonetheless on a basketball court. It's been a long time since we've seen Caitlin Clark on a basketball court, certainly a long time since we've seen Caitlin Clark play basketball.
When Clark first went down, the WNBA's verdict was instant. Indiana was cooked. This wasn't a minor setback. She missed nearly 2 months, the kind of absence that torpedoes entire seasons, and the Fever were already a triage unit. Sophie Cunningham, outside. Chloe Bibby, outside. Sydney Colson and Aari McDonald, also out. What remained looked less like a playoff team and more like a scrimmage roster taped together with hope. Without Clark's gravity-warping defenses and her range stretching the floor, the Fever's offense slid into YMCA pickup mode. Not shade, just facts. The rhythm vanished, and the losses piled up.
Because if you look at the Fever injury list, it's just wild to see. It's like the Star Wars scroll at the end of one of those movies. It's just a endless list of players who have been out, back out of the lineup again, and really just a lineup that you could build if you were the Indiana Fever. You could roll out there if you were experimenting, depending on the situation and the nature of the game.
Fast forward to this week, and the panic button is dust. Practice clips hit the internet. Clark in uniform, draining jumpers, jogging, dishing passes. She's not cleared for full contact yet, but just seeing her move sent Fever fans into joyful meltdown. Comment sections lit up with predictions, memes, and heated debates over her return date. Meanwhile, league execs were glued to their screens, chewing nails, because they know exactly what the fans know. Without Clark, the WNBA is just another league begging for attention. With her back, the entire game flips.
And there was a little bit more footage here, and you see Caitlin involved on the floor yet again, even handling the ball, working with her teammates. I mean, that's an important sign there, to see her working with her teammates.
Now comes the question, should she even return this season? The cautious camp says no. Long-term health matters more than a rushed playoff chase. Groin injuries linger, and re-injury could be brutal. But then there's the other side. Fever fans, TV networks, and the WNBA's marketing machine yelling that the season is pointless without her. Nobody's thinking about 2026. They're thinking about ratings, sold-out crowds, and playoff buzz right now. And let's be real. Cathy Engelbert isn't losing sleep over Clark's future. She just wants her golden ticket back on the floor to save the league's bottom line.
I notice when you're asking about Caitlin a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalries. And you can't do that alone as one person.
But this debate isn't just about Clark's health. It's about the shockwaves her return would send. Picture her suiting up against the Sparks in a must-win. Overnight, Indiana's playoff odds spike while LA and Minnesota scramble. A healthy Clark doesn't just lift the Fever, she warps the entire playoff picture. And that's why her so-called rivals are sweating. Angel Reese built her brand on playing the foil. A'ja Wilson made her envy public. All that trash talk and shade, it evaporates the second Clark steps back in and starts dominating again.
Look like we may actually have some legitimate movement in the direction of Caitlin Clark coming back, and I will sort of look at the schedule with you guys and try to determine what game I think she might actually show back up in.
From Indiana's side, Clark's absence has been a harsh wake-up call. Aaliyah Boston hasn't looked the same without those pinpoint entry passes and floor spacing Clark provides. Kelsey Mitchell's been grinding herself down, pouring in 20-plus a night just to keep games respectable, only for it to feel like empty calories without Clark setting the rhythm. Fans cling to Mitchell's outbursts like lifelines, but it's still desperation basketball, and everyone knows there's only one player who can erase that desperation, Caitlin Clark.
Against the Sparks, and this is a big game because the Sparks are right there with us on the in the playoff race, and they hold tiebreakers. By the way, so do the Valkyrie. All right, we do have one win. I believe it's one win over the Mercury, and then we've got a Sky team that we should beat, a Mystics team that we should beat, but you can't. I mean, who knows? I think they beat us in the last game. And then we close out the regular season with the Lynx. We're not making the playoffs without Caitlin Clark. There. Yeah, I said it. We're not making the playoffs without Caitlin Clark. I don't think.
And here's where it gets spicy. Clark's return doesn't just supercharge Indiana's offense. It puts every loudmouth critic on notice. Coaches like Cheryl Reeve, who's practically turned down playing Clark into a side hustle, suddenly have to game plan for her again. Players who puffed their chests while she was sidelined now risk looking clownish the moment she drops a logo 3 in their faces. With Clark on the floor, the Fever aren't just competitive, they're dangerous. And that danger has the whole league sweating.
All right. And it's these two games that are the big pivot games. Sparks, Valkyries. That game right there, that Friday night game, I have a feeling that she might actually return for that game.
Let's not forget the refs. These are the same officials who've let Clark get hacked, shoved, even poked in the eye with barely a whistle. You think they're eager for her return? Not a chance. Every game she plays will be under a microscope, with fans ready to dissect every missed call in slow motion within seconds. The league knows it, the refs know it, and the fans definitely know it. Protecting Clark isn't just about preserving her career, it's about preserving the league's credibility. But the real intrigue? Clark's mindset. She's not built to sit and spectate. This is the same player who dragged Iowa through March Madness slugfests, the same competitor who thrives when pressure turns suffocating. She's restless already, watching the Fever cough up leads from the sideline. If she feels she can play, she'll push to play. The only question is whether Indiana's medical staff, or Engelbert's league office, tries to hold her back for their own agendas. Because make no mistake, the WNBA wants her return, but only on their terms. Clark, though, she's never followed anyone's terms but her own.
They just announced breaking news right now. We have a logo. That is the official Caitlin Clark Nike logo. And it's not just that. I mean, this is cool. Nike has just announced that a signature product line will be dropping soon, with signature shoes coming.
The basketball universe just witnessed the most glorious implosion in WNBA history, flavored like envy with a drizzle of desperation. Caitlin Clark unveiled her fresh Nike signature logo, and the uproar has been nothing short of legendary. The instant the double C hit cyberspace, fans erupted, lines wrapped around storefronts, and social feeds exploded into endless Clark mania. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is likely somewhere in Chicago, doom-scrolling with the exact panic reserved for that moment when you realize your rival just sprinted 5 laps ahead in the marathon for relevance. Nike didn't just hand Caitlin Clark a logo, they handed her a movement. The interlocking CC is now glowing in Times Square, plastered in ads, and breaking TikTok servers. Hoodies and tees are vanishing quicker than Beyoncé tickets. The resale game's already hiking prices like it's Supreme on drop day. This isn't some basic merch drop. It's Clark staking her crown as the queen of basketball branding. And while Caitlin is busy rewriting the superstar blueprint, Angel Reese is probably Googling how to make people care about my Reebok sneakers, like it's a last-minute open book exam.
You don't get told no. Like, you're going to get the yeses. You're going to get more yeses than nos, and just being able to know that. So I'm excited for that. I know that's going to come soon.
Nike launched Clark's new era with the kind of reverence usually saved for global icons. The logo isn't just clean, it's layered. 2 interlocking C's with a hidden third, symbolizing her bond with fans, her unshakable confidence, and her infinite range. That quiet genius is why Nike runs the empire while Reebok begs for scraps. And Clark isn't just scoring a logo, she's landing a full collection. Premium fits, lifestyle gear, the whole spread. October 1st is circled worldwide because this drop isn't just sportswear. It's a ticket into Caitlin Clark's unstoppable ascent.
It looks really unique, I think it's very creative for Caitlin Clark to come up with something like this. And I just enjoy, all of it, it's like aura.
We love it! It's simple, yet it speaks a lot. I love it so much.
I'm a big fan of it. Simplicity is the best. I like the design. Nike always does great with design, so I'm a huge fan of the logo.
It looks really cool. I was really excited to see it last night, and it looks like we're going to get shirts with it on it, so that's pretty exciting too.
I like it. I like how it incorporates the CC.
I love it. Double C's. Let's go, Caitlin!
The numbers behind it are brutal for anyone thinking they could keep pace. Her $28 million 8-year Nike deal isn't just the biggest in women's hoops. It's a proclamation. It shouts, "This game belongs to Caitlin." Every single drop vanishes like gold dust. Jerseys don't just sell out, they nuke websites. Fans camp overnight, spamming refresh like it's oxygen just to snag anything with Clark's name. This isn't commerce, it's hysteria. And right now, Reese is stuck on the sidelines, wondering why her Reebok rollout feels more like a clearance bin special.
I've been telling y'all to stay patient. I've been telling y'all that Nike takes their time, that Asia Wilson's shoe deal was 2 years in the making, that Paige Bueckers had PEs, not her own signature shoe, and that Caitlin Clark's was 100% coming. And people kept saying, oh, Nike fumbled the bag with Caitlin. It has to get out there. Nike fumbled the bag. No, they didn't. It takes time. She's got to develop a whole freaking product line.
Angel Reese thought she'd struck gold when she signed with Reebok. Shaquille O'Neal himself vouched for her, hyping a signature shoe and casting her as the face of their basketball revival. But then, Caitlin Clark reminded the world what real star power looks like. Reese pictured herself as a trailblazer, but instead, she's facing the brutal reality. A Reebok press release doesn't hit like being Nike's chosen one. Clark unveils a logo and the internet implodes. Reese drops a sneaker launch, and most folks scroll by like it's a coupon for discount tires.
Angel Reese's first signature shoe is set to release. It's set to release. Now, it's not a bad shoe. This is my only problem with it. The colorway. I just feel like they could have had a little more fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Especially being that it's for the All-Star game. Why do a basic white shoe? Man, you could have did so much more to make this shoe pop. And y'all just nah, we just gonna do a regular white shoe.
The receipts are savage. Caitlin Clark's jerseys rank second in all of basketball. Let me repeat, all of basketball. She's outselling LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Anthony Edwards. Her draft day jersey, fastest selling in any sport, wiped out in under an hour. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's merch is so forgettable, you could probably stroll in today and find racks still collecting dust. No frenzy, no resale hustle, no stampede, just a cold reminder that hype without substance doesn't sell.
Angel Reese is now quoted as saying, "I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person." She refuses to say Caitlin Clark's name. It's because of me too, and I want you to realize that.
Nike calls Clark's logo a mirror of her limitless range, and it fits. She's not just stretching defenses, she's stretching the boundaries of women's basketball both commercially and culturally. She's rewriting the entire script of superstardom. Every glance at those interlocking C's isn't just branding, it's authority. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is out here pushing an AR Halo logo that sounds more like downloadable content than cultural impact. Sweetie, if your brand needs a halo, it's probably because your career's flatlining and you're banking on divine intervention to keep the pulse going.
Caitlin Clark is simply the talk of the internet today. Her and Taylor Swift broke the damn internet. Yes, bro. And for all the people that was hitting me up about Caitlin Clark's signature logo, somebody said it looked like Chanel. I said it looked like Gucci. But whatever it is a luxury sports brand. I can't think of very many luxury sports brands. Guys, do you like, I'm a fashion guy. And I understand what Nike is doing. Nike is trying to get into the luxury brand style.
Clark's global pull makes this a nightmare for Reese. Nike isn't just marketing Caitlin Clark to American fans. They're exporting her stardom to Europe, Asia, South America. Her logo is already international currency. Kids in Madrid, Tokyo, and Rio are lining up for her gear because greatness needs no translation. That's why Nike drops her a $28 million bag. She's not just a league star, she's a worldwide phenomenon. Angel Reese, meanwhile, is still struggling to convince folks in her own city that her sneakers are worth caring about.
Sorry, young lady. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody would be watching the WNBA additionally for you. This is all about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is bringing the money to the game, the planes to the game, the TV viewership. The WNBA is on fire because of Caitlin Clark.
And here's the truth. Reese's jealousy isn't even subtle anymore. Every time Clark levels up, Reese tries to wedge herself into the discourse with a side-eye quip or some half-hearted dismissal. She dodges Clark's name like it's Voldemort, as if silence could somehow dim her glow. But fans aren't fools. They catch the envy, they catch the clipped sound bites, and they know Reese is gagging on the fact that she'll never command the spotlight the way Caitlin Clark does with a single logo drop.
She seeks that attention, right? And another thing is, it's obvious she's jealous of Caitlin. Every interview, every tweet, everything is about Caitlin. I haven't yet to see Caitlin even respond to her yet. Have y'all?
No.
So when you asking me like, yo, I get it, everybody's watching women's basketball now, who's the real reason? Well, yes, you are right. Reese has a small amount of that, right? But the other real credit goes to Caitlin, not just because what she's doing outside the court and she's waving her hand and all that. It's because she's giving buckets in basketball, right? And she looks like Steph Curry. And that's simple.
The business stakes here aren't just high, they're seismic. Nike betting on Caitlin Clark is already paying dividends in ways that probably have Reebok execs staring at boardroom ceilings questioning every career move. Clark's merch doesn't just sell, it ignites cultural moments. She rocks her new logo pants to practice, and it's headline news. Her All-Star jerseys drop in July 2024, gone in 15 minutes flat. That's not ordinary retail. That's event-level marketing. The kind of phenomenon no brand can buy with money alone.
It's a little bit different out here when you get Caitlin Clark treatment. It ain't so easy peasy getting to play one-on-one, getting to just do your thing how you want to do it, when you want to do it.
The mask is off, the charade is finished, and the so-called prophecy has collapsed. The WNBA's attempt to manufacture the next Caitlin Clark backfired spectacularly. Paige Bueckers, the media's chosen darling and supposed heir to Clark, hyped as women's basketball's savior, just got a brutal reality check from the Seattle Storm. This wasn't a stumble. This was a full exposure, proving hype fades fast against WNBA-level defense.
This was the first time we saw Paige really get guarded. This is where we saw what is going to happen in year 2. This is the scout report that needs to be out there on Paige Bueckers once the Dallas Wings get good, because the Dallas Wings are going to get good at some stage in her career. This was the game where I'm like...
For months, the story was served straight from the PR cookbook. Paige Bueckers, the anointed heir, destined to outshine Clark. The media devoured it, hyping her as the game changer Clark never was. Poised, sharp, unstoppable, headline after headline, the perfect package.
Elevation of one Paige Bueckers. Oh, she's better than Caitlin Clark. I mean, stab me in the eye with a spoon, for Christ's sakes. Wow. So that's a thing right now. Last night, Paige Bueckers dropped 44 points. And we're going to look at a video that just dissects and exposes a lot of that. Let me tell you, it exposes a lot of stuff involving Paige Bueckers getting special treatment on the court.
Remember when even Paige's old coach, Gino Auriemma, said this about Caitlin Clark? It set the tone for how everyone treated, or should I say, mistreated and doubted, Clark from the start.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. You know, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
Paige hit 200 points and 50 assists faster than Clark by one game, and analysts went wild, praising her polish and readiness. The hype train roared, ESPN selling first-class seats. But hype's fragile, and reality wears Seattle storm green.
Diva Dump Davis Kat Engelbert is breathing a sigh of relief. Her pretend friends in the mainstream media, they are trying to crown a new star. If the media has it their way, this could potentially be the new face of pretend basketball. And it's not just the woke media. There are even some in conservative media who are voluntarily biting into the sandwich. Headline at Outkick. No, Caitlin, no problem. Paige Bueckers can save the WNBA season.
Fresh off her glorified coronation, that 44-point blast against the Sparks, Paige strutted into Seattle like royalty. Problem: the Storm skipped the red carpet, serving traps, contests, and brute force instead. What came next? Not a coronation, a full-on demolition.
She went off in a game against the Los Angeles Sparks, scoring 44 points, but the craziest part about that was her shooting percentage. She shot over 80% from the field, and I tweeted about that, and I was like, that's actually insane. Give props where they are due. Shooting over 80%, scoring 44 points is actually insane. But with this game, like Paige Bueckers she put on a masterclass in scoring, and I think with that, these are some big numbers.
Paige ended with 11 points. Total, not per quarter, on a brutal 2 for 11 shooting, 0 assists, and just 2 rebounds. The stat line screamed lost, not rising star. Coach Noel Quinn had warned, let's see if this princess can handle the Caitlin Clark treatment. Spoiler, she couldn't. She folded.
For the game, you said it's going to be important to be physical with like Paige Bueckers. Can you talk about the defensive game plan for Dallas and like how your team was able to hold them to their fewest points of the season?
Yeah, it started, with our attention to detail with Paige. I thought, Slim was very physical, stayed in her space, and the actions that we guarded her in, we were very aggressive, showed multiple bodies, and kind of, made her hesitant to use the ball screen a little bit. I thought we rotated well.
Here's the kicker. Paige crumbled under one night of real defense, while Caitlin Clark has survived the storm for over a year. She didn't just shake up the league, she redefined it. And her reward? Hits that would make NFL linebackers nod. The stats are savage. 17% of all 2024 WNBA flagrant fouls were aimed at Clark. That's not basketball, it's open season hunting.
Paige Bueckers got Caitlin Clark treatment for the first time in her career, and it looked bad. It looked real bad. Everybody was running around. Yeah, she was cooking 44 points versus the Sparks. They didn't play a lick of defense, letting this girl play one-on-one basketball in every area of the floor. letting her post up in the mid-range area one-on-one. Now, I'm giving credit. She's a bucket in one-on-one, especially from that mid-range, from the free throw line down area. But this is the first time we watch teams actively be persistent about taking away her spots and what she wants to do.
Take the Chicago Sky. They turned fouling Clark into an art form, racking up 80% of those flagrant calls. Meanwhile, Paige drifted through cushy defenses like a college scrimmage. First taste of Clark-level intensity? She wilted. Shots disappeared, efficiency evaporated, and her game looked hollow. Seattle treated her like the star she was billed as, and exposed her as anything but.
She got blitzed. She got doubled. And do you want to know what she did as soon as she got blitzed and doubles? She passed. Paige Bueckers, like, look, she played decent amount early in the game. The game was kind of over and she got subbed out. Paige Bueckers shot 7 times.
The media, naturally, had been parading Paige's shooting percentages like sacred scripture. That silky 47.4% clip was splashed everywhere, pitted against Clark's rookie 41.7%, sold as proof Paige was the polished prodigy. What they glossed over? Clark was taking the league's hardest shots, absorbing blows that barely earned whistles. Paige's glossy stats came off soft D and open looks. When real pressure arrived, her numbers crumbled. 2 makes on 11 attempts. Not efficiency, a mirage evaporating the moment it's tested. Meanwhile, Clark keeps torching defenses built to break her. Contested threes from 28 feet, drives through hacks, elbows shrugged off. She still delivers highlight reels that fill arenas. Her toughness makes Paige's collapse even sharper. Clark proves punishment doesn't faze her. She doesn't just play through contact, she thrives in it, turning pain into fuel. Paige got one taste, and poof. Makes you wonder, can Paige ever handle the heat? Or was the hype always just smoke and mirrors?
It looked like it's happening. Angel Reese is asking out of Chicago already.
Angel Reese officially puts the Chicago Sky on notice. We're not doing the same thing this offseason that we did last offseason. Stop bringing me bums to play with.
Angel Reese told the Chicago Tribune she won't settle for another mediocre season, demanding the Sky bring in the league's best. Bold, right? Except she's leading in turnovers despite missing games, struggles with layups, and just got suspended. Reese wants her teammates replaced, but maybe it's her the Sky should cut loose.
Stop bringing me these players. I want the best of the best. I want the upper echelon.
Angel Reese is fed up. She's tired of the losing. She's tired of being the gum on the bottom of the shoe of the league. She is fed up with the Chicago Sky, and it looks like Angel Reese wants out. It looks like she wants out.
Imagine demanding your teammates be replaced, only to become the one your franchise might dump. That's the corner Angel Reese backed into with her Chicago Tribune comments. She wasn't subtle either. Reese bluntly said she wouldn't settle for another year like this, insisting top talent was non-negotiable. Instead of a franchise star building with her team, she came off more like a brat, ready to gut her roster on record.
Let's see what Angel Reese had to say. I'm not settling for the same shit we did this year. Oh boy. Reese told the Tribune, we have to get good players. We have to get great players. That's a non-negotiable for me. I'm willing and wanting to play with the best. And however I can help to get the best here, that's what I'm going to do this offseason. So it's going to be very, very important this offseason to make sure we attract the best of the best, because we can't settle for what we have this year. Overhaul this roster.
That interview didn't just ruffle feathers. It reportedly enraged teammates and vets across the league. A locker room sit-down had to be called just to handle the fallout. That's not chemistry, that's damage control. Imagine being unproven, yet sparking a team meeting over your mouth. That's not leadership. It's dysfunction.
So it's that in multiple lead sources told front office sports that the entire team has seen Angel Reese comments that teammates are unhappy with the direct attacks. A team meeting is planned at which players are expected to address Reese directly.
Of all her remarks, the harshest shot landed on Courtney Vandersloot. Despite Vandersloot being sidelined with an ACL injury, Reese brushed her off as too old for the Sky's future. That stung. Vandersloot isn't just any player. She's a champion, a veteran floor general, one of the best the league has ever seen. Dismissing her doesn't just insult Vandersloot, it alienates the vets who know she's earned every ounce of respect.
We can't rely on Courtney to come back at that age that she's at, Reese. And I know she'll be a great asset for us, but we can't rely on that. We need someone probably a little younger with some experience, somebody who's been playing the game and is willing to compete for a championship and has done it before. Courtney Vandersloot, by the way, 2-time WNBA champion, 5-time All-Star, 2-time All-WNBA first team, left the New York Liberty, a championship caliber team, to come help out the Chicago.
Here's the kicker. The Chicago front office had already bent over backwards for Reese. They traded Sonia Citron, who's in the Rookie of the Year hunt and already an all-star, to snag Ariel Atkins. That move was meant to give Reese the proven talent she demanded. Instead of gratitude, she acted like the roster and staff were never enough. You can't cry about the front office not trying when they gave up a potential franchise cornerstone just for you.
It is looking spooky in Chicago. Instead, Reese said she doesn't believe her teammates Rachel Berman or Haley Van Lith are capable of leading them to the leading the playoff team. Guard Ariel Atkins is another player on the Sky roster with WNBA championship experience. We are aware of it, Marsh stated. We are addressing it.
It would have been bad enough if Reese only targeted veterans. But she didn't stop there. Even young players like Haley Van Lith caught shade as if the whole team was too old, mid, or soft. Veterans felt insulted, younger players dismissed, and the locker room's glue became the enemy. Reese aimed for a rally. She turned the frustration back on herself.
We need great players, and I don't know what that will attract that. Maybe the practice facility will attract that. We'll see. But I think the priority is being able to convince free agents that this is an organization that is going in the right direction. I think, honestly, it would be a leap of faith for a great player to come here and show that this is something that they want to be a part of, and we can bring that championship mentality. A leap of faith to think that a great player would want to come to Chicago.
And looking at her on-court impact, it's easy to see why this power play backfired. If you put yourself above the roster, you better dominate. Instead, Reese was out of sync, clashing with the system she wanted to reshape. Her vision ended up exposing a harsh truth. The problem might not be the roster, it might be Reese herself. The sting? While demanding upgrades, she couldn't even do the basics, like holding on to the ball.
Hey, it's not all her fault. Her teammates stink. They gotta catch that, right? Right! Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Scooby, put down the butter. Butter pecan! Hey! Time of the year's the best. You got pumpkin spice, football, and Angel Reese layups. Hey! Final play of the game, Angel Reese, clutch Gene! Womp, womp. That's my Barbie!
What if the player demanding a roster overhaul was the one holding the team back? That's Angel Reese. On paper, she posts 14 to 15 points and double-digit rebounds. Looks solid. But dig deeper, she's leading the WNBA in turnovers, even after missing weeks to injury. She played less than most stars, yet gave the ball away more than anyone. That's not dominance. That's careless basketball.
For you, 20% of the time, Angel Reese gets her shot blocked inside of 9 feet. And 100% of the time, she's doggy doo-doo. Burn! Get to the lady in orange. Uh-oh, you're out. Simon didn't say. 101 turnovers in 26 games for our 2K cover. She's a stat stuffer. Burn! she always brings the boom. I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye!
Turnovers often happen when a player tries to force the action. But with Reese, it went deeper than mere hustle. Her miscues screamed impatience, sloppy decision-making, and a knack for melting under pressure. And if you thought that was all, think again. Discipline? Also a weak spot. Watching your supposed cornerstone constantly arguing with referees, losing her cool, and stacking technicals is a nightmare. Yet somehow, Reese blitzed past the limit, racking up her 8th technical foul of the season, an automatic 1-game suspension by league rules. The question now, is this a hiccup or a sign of something bigger brewing?